This is what we're working on right now, this front-end Mender page, and you can see here we've done a lot of the work, and as we scroll down here, I think we've done most of this. We just have this background area here, and we've got this top area up here. Sorry about that. Thank you. Okay, and what I was showing you earlier, if you were hearing that, is I've got this Tailwind project coming up soon where we're going to build out this landing page I designed in Figma, and I think that comes out next week. So if you like Tailwind instead of just normal CSS like I'm writing today, hopefully that'll be a help to you. Sorry again for the wrong screen. As I mentioned, it's early morning for me. So let's come back over here. All I've done so far is I've added in this image tag right here, and I've also just started styling this down this way. I did mention that I've got a code pen in the description. You're welcome to grab the code from last time, and I will go ahead and push whatever I do today up there as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this thing, let's see, z-index -1 behind everything. And thanks again for letting me know about the screen there. Okay, and then this needs to be so that we can see it, z-index. I think if we just did like 1, that should pull it up. The stacking order is kind of weird. I'm not sure I always understand it, but that's at least working today. All right, so we've got these 3 little squares. Looks like it's just massive. Okay, we can do that. Probably the easiest way, I guess we could just scale it. Or I could do an inset like -4 rem or something that pull it out. No, that's just going to do that. So we do need to scale it. So let's transform it, and we'll do scale like 4 maybe. Get it huge and see exactly where that stuff is. So this seems really light compared to what I've got. I wonder if this whole background is maybe one color, and I might have it fading. So let's see what I've got. Background gradient. I don't remember where my colors are, what I set up as my colors. So maybe let's just do this. This looks like that dark red maybe. So, or the light red. So red light. So let's change the header tag to that. So, oops, that was red light, I think. I mean, that doesn't look any better. What was our other color option? We've got red hover maybe. This is where having the Figma file would actually be a big help. Red hover, no. All right, well, let's just keep it where it was at because that looked closer than whatever we've got now. And let's go ahead and set overflow hidden here. Yeah, I'm glad you're excited for the Tailwind project. I had fun putting it together. All right, and then let's get this thing moved up. So let's do top like -4 rem. We're kind of playing with magic numbers here since I don't really have actual data for how this is supposed to look. So something like that. I mean, that's a little high, but I mean, you get the idea. It's position absolute. Because I don't have the Figma, it's really going to be hard to position this pixel by pixel. So I'm just going to leave it like that. That should be good to go. See, that looks the same-ish. This font could maybe be a little bit bigger, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. And then let's get this background section here. So that's down here. State of the architecture. I think all the rest of that is good. So what was this thing called? We have a title on this. Phones something? Phones. There we go. And let's see how I did this. Phones background. Okay, so this is the actual maybe div. Did I set it up like that? Okay, so I've got a div here. Let's go ahead and add in another image tag, and we'll point to our images and look at our background circles, I guess. And then circles. And then let's come in here and do aria hidden as well. And since this is just background circles. Okay, cool. So it does show up there. Let's give this a class too. We'll give it the same class of background. I don't think I gave that a class anywhere else. And then I'll come up here. See, this should be position relative. I got it right there. Let's also do an overflow hidden. Let's see, overflow hidden. Okay, cool. Now let's come in here and I'm going to grab this. Looks like that's how I selected it. And inside here we've got a background. And this is where we'll say, let's see, position absolute. And then let's do Z index -1, put it back behind everything. And let's see, that also means this background, where's my background? This needs to be lower than that. So something like that. And actually, maybe this needs to be positioned relative to this phone's background. Let's do that. All right, because it needs to be inside the blue. So let's scrap that, bring it down here, and we'll add this to phone's background like that. Okay, so up this way, let's move this thing inside of this div here. Okay, so it is now there, perfect. And then let's just position it. So let's say inset 0, at least get it in the middle. Let's see, maybe the better way is to say right 0 and left 0. Are hidden basically hides it from screen readers, so because it's just ancillary, it's not important to the design. They don't need to know that there's circles there. So if you're using assistive technology, you're not constantly bogged down with every single design element on the page. At least that's my understanding. If that's wrong, somebody let me know. But that's my understanding. So we'll do -2 rem. Something like that. Let's see how high it was. Let's do like -50%. Nope. And it's not capping at that, huh? Oh, you know what? I don't think I have overflow hidden here. Overflow hidden. There we go. Okay, so let's do 20% maybe. We're kind of playing with magic numbers since I don't actually have the design, but that's good enough for me. Okay, the rest of that looks pretty good on mobile. Now, when it comes to this nav bar, this is going to be decently challenging and take up a lot of time, which is fine. But because what we'll have to do, see, do they give you kind of, okay, so they do give you a state of how stuff looks. So yeah, there's quite a bit here. I think this will take 40 minutes or so, because what we'd have to do is have a logo over here and then all the rest of these positioned, I guess, in one div. So we'd have three things. We'd have this button, and we'd have everything else in a UL with subsequent ULs down there. So this is just going to take a decent amount of time to get this set up, so that's fine, but I don't want to just do that the rest of the day. So maybe let's do this. Let's just get the structure done. We won't really style anything on mobile except for this right now, just the logo and this little X button. I'm guessing there's a hamburger. Yeah, so a hamburger button over here, and then we'll get desktop set up, and if we happen to have time, we will look at the rest of the mobile. So let's do that. That's my plan at least. Okay, so let's come over here, and in the HTML, looks like I blocked off that section. So let's have a nav bar here, and inside here I'm going to have three things, but because they won't go all the way to the side on desktop, I think we should probably put those inside of a container. Did I have a container class? Oops. Let's look in this style sheet. Container. And more containers. Okay. I thought I might have had some kind of container class to cap everything. I guess if everything's inside the main. Nope, it's not. We can cap stuff horizontally on desktop. Maybe by adding that container class to everything. So let's do that. Let's create a container class. So close the sidebar here. Let's come back up to the nav, and I'll just add let's add a div inside of here, container, and then we'll call this nav container as well, so that we can style it specifically to this. All right, and then inside here we're gonna have three things. We will have our logo, which is going to point back to the home page, and so let's do that. And we'll look inside our images. I'm assuming we have a logo here somewhere. Logo, there we go. All right, so we'll got that. Let's make sure it's showing up. It's going to be up there. Hamburger menu, there we go. Icon hamburger, that'll work. And then here, again, we need to give it an ARIA label. So we'll say open mobile nav. Okay, so that should show up as well, and it does in all of its ugly normal buttonness. And then we will have, this will all be, I guess we'll make this whole thing just the UL. There's no reason to call it something else, so we'll call this nav links. And one thing you can do here is give this a role of menu bar. And then the way assistive technology reads this, it'll actually tell it, hey, this is grouped all together as, you know, where the navigation menu bar is. Now, there's going to be a lot of stuff that we're not going to get to when it comes to accessibility here, just because I know there are a bunch of best practices, especially with internal collapsing menus, like whether it says ARIA expanded or not. And so there's going to be some things like that we're going to have to work on. In fact, I need to come up here and say ARIA expanded equals false to start with. All right, so there's going to be a bunch of things like that we need to just, we're going to have to worry about later. I don't think I'm going to have time to look all that up live here, but I do also think this needs an ARIA controls, maybe. And we'll point this to I need an ID down here, and we'll call this menu bar. I think that's correct. All right, so menu bar, and then this would be, see, we'd have to point this back to ARIA labels by. That may not be right. Well, let's just leave that alone. That's not going to hurt anything. And then inside here, we'll have, I think it's overview, company, about, and connect maybe. No, that doesn't look right. Product, company, connect, login, sign up. Okay. So product, oh, up here we go. That must be the submenu, items, company, connect, login, sign up. Okay. So let's just do that. Let's have these as LIs. And then inside here, it's helpful to give these a role of none if you've given that other one a role of menu bar. And that way it knows kind of that this isn't important. Instead, what we're going to do is add links here, and these we will give a role of menu item. Okay, and this one we will make sure it goes nowhere. We'll call this product. That. And let's see, this also needs to expand the UL. It's been a while since I've done one of these expanding menus, so I think that's correct. We might need to, I think we'll have another UL in here, and this will have all these other items. But like I said, I don't think we're going to get to that today or probably ever. This is probably the last time I'm going to do this challenge. And we'll at least get this down right here. And we will set this to company. And then let me bring up all this. And we'll put this up here. All right, and then we've got connect as well. So let me grab all of this and copy this down. And we'll call this connect. And then we'll move this stuff up. All right, and then lastly, we're going to have our sign up and our login. And I think those will actually be similar style to these buttons here, if I remember correctly. So we'll come in here and actually let's copy this down because it's technically another list item. And then I don't need a UL in here. And we will, let's see, replace this with, what was it? Login. There we go. Login. And then this one will be sign up. Okay, so that's mostly right, I think, as far as the structure is concerned. And there they are showing up right there. Now let's go ahead and style this. Let's see, button filled, button outline is what I've got here. So that should work there. So let's go ahead and just do the same thing. So button filled will be for, actually, let's just grab this whole thing. And that would be the sign up one, I think. Yep, and then a button outline right here we can use for this menu item. And again, I forgot to copy that whole thing. There we go. Okay, so that should show up, maybe. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, and then there's that weird hover state. I remember that last time not liking that very much, but okay, so we've got all that set up. Let's do some really basic styling just to hide some of the ugliness, and then like I said, we'll work on desktop next. So we've got containers. We need to go ahead and set this somewhere. So let's see, do I have like a utility section maybe? Components, buttons, util. Usually I try to keep a utility section together. I guess not. Okay, we'll come in here and let's just call this container since I don't have anything else anywhere else to put it. And we'll say that this needs to be, there's a couple ways we can do this. Basically what we want is a max width, so it's never going to go larger than a certain size. And so let's just do this. Let's do margin inline, and then we'll do max, and we'll give it two options. So either 2 rem will be our margin inline. So on the side I'll have 2 rem, or maybe let's do 1 rem, because I think that's the size we've got on some of these. At least it should be. Is that about 1 rem? Here it is. So I'm not totally sure how the setup is. I forget what we did there. Did I have sizes up top? See, this is the problem when it's been a week since I looked at this last space. While I'm still trying to kind of do it live so that it's really actually live coding. Small to medium, extra small. That'll work. Okay, so we'll do that as the smallest. Otherwise, we'll do a calculation, and we'll do 100. Let's see, 100%. 100 view width, I think, minus 70 rem, maybe. I think that's right. And let's wrap all that. I think that's correct. Okay, so what it should do is basically cap it. Yeah, and it does. And then it shouldn't allow it to get any bigger than basically 70. Okay, so it's going to cap it in the middle. That's what I want. Okay, and maybe we make this a little bit different. Because for really large screen sizes, that would still be huge. Do I have a cap on my body? I don't. So let's do this. Rather than wasting my time figuring out this exact stuff and your time, more importantly, let's just leave it at this. That will work. Maybe we'll say like 80 rem. That make it a little bit smaller. Basically what I'm trying to get is just so it sticks in the middle, and that basically margin inlines it and our margin autos it and sets that outside section on it. So that should work. Okay, let's come up down here above the header, and we'll have a nav section. We'll call this navigation. And in here, I will have navigation. I'm guessing I did that down here. Yeah, secondary nav. Okay, cool. So last week's self wasn't a total idiot. That's good. We'll come in here to our nav container. And here I want to do display a flex. And then let's go ahead and hide our nav links, which is that UL. And I'll just do display of none for now. I think it's our UL. Is that our UL? Menu bar nav links, right? Nav links. Display of none. Leave. I'm not sure what that's about. All right, let's just do this for now. Justify content, space between, and then we'll do align line items center. All right, what is going on with these nav links? This right here should be list style none. Oh, do I have it overwritten down below? Huh. Why would I have nav links down below? Nav links? I do. Oh, I named the same thing down below. Huh. Well, that's a thing I didn't think about. So let's go ahead and set another class here. So we'll give this nav links, and then we'll give this, I guess we'll give it a little extension like main or something like that. Okay. Well, I didn't think through that when I patterned that whole thing out. So nav links, let's go up top here. Where is my navigation? Here we go. Okay, so we've got this now. Now let's display none this. Display none. Hey, it's gone. Okay. Next, this is going to be over the top of this. So let's just set this to, I guess, position absolute. Absolute. And make sure it's on the top of everything. There it is. And then let's give this thing some padding up and down. So we'll do padding block. I've got some spacers here, so something like that. And again, because I don't have the Figma, I'm just kind of guessing anyhow, so more or less. Let's get this back to 375, which is what they said it was supposed to be at. So it looks like I need a little bit more than that. So let's use my medium to large. I set up this whole scaling last time. Do I have a medium to large? Using something called utopia.fyi, and I've actually, I think I've done a video on that since then, but I don't know if it's actually gone live anywhere. So if you're interested in that, hopefully that will be a help to you when it comes out. Okay, so we've got that. Let's make sure also that its width is 100%. And that way it stretches across. Actually, I need to calculate that. So let's see the best way to do this. I could inset it the 2rem. So let's do that. Inset inline, and we'll do 2rem. Well, I guess I don't want that either. I want it 0, or I want whatever my spacing is. What's my spacing? I think it was the small one. Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to call that good. Let's work on the menu button itself. Menu button. No, we changed that. It was button menu. And let's get this down a little bit here. Oh, I broke everything. Sorry. Okay, so there we go. Let's do a background of none. Border of none. Let's see what else we need. Cursor of pointer. All right, so that mostly looks fine. And then let's make sure these things are aligned center. It says they are. It's just this image itself inside the thing isn't. So let's come over here. Let's just grab this ARIA label since we've got it here, and we'll just use this selector and say display grid, place items center. There we go. Okay, so that's mostly in the middle now. It looks like that SVG is already kind of in the middle, so I'm going to leave that alone. No reason to cause more stuff for ourselves than we need to. Okay, cool. Probably the other thing I should do is give this a little bit more space from stuff below it because it's positioned absolute. Maybe the best way is to go to my header tag and let's add some extra padding up top. So let's keep this padding down below, and maybe, do we have something bigger than this? What is this? Var space. So we've got, nope, that's extra small. There we go. So 7 to 9. So we don't have anything larger than that, it looks like. So let's just do like 12 rem or something. Again, we're kind of playing with magic numbers right now since I don't have a Figma. I'm just kind of guessing, and I'm fine with that. All right, so there we go. We've got a basic layout for everything mobile. Let's just make sure this looks right. That looks mostly good. This down here looks mostly good. Oh, we've got some padding here. I wonder where this is showing up from. Did this main thing have some padding? It did. It wasn't seeming to bother earlier. I wonder what I changed. Okay, so maybe let's get rid of the main padding. And let's see, just maybe up and down. We'll leave that, and then we'll set this to 0 for now. And then let's add container classes to all the rest of those. Let's see how that container was set up. Let's see, so this gives me margin inline. Maybe let's do this. Yeah, let's just see if that works. I don't think it will because it's going to give me that same white space everywhere. But let's try it. So let's actually come back in here and add a class of container on the main. That way we're controlling the same kind of thing everywhere, rather than we can just add those container classes where we need them. And then in this case, I guess what I'll do is just move this background outside that same amount, which would be the 2rem. Because I'd still want to cap the whole site at that size, I think. That might be a little too small, though. Let's not do that. All right, scrap that idea. Bad idea. Let's just remove that, come back in here, and add back in that space. And then I'll come back to this section, which was, what was that? Phones? Something? Phones? And see, it's the background right here. Inset. Now I did some kind of calculation, which means I must have known this was a thing. So let's do this. What was that main padding? So this is what I need to negative. So we'll go back down to my phones and come down here and phones background right here. Okay, so this is what I actually need to calculate too. And I did -1. Huh. Why is, oh, you know what? I put an overflow hidden up here because originally we were going to do that. Okay, so I knew I didn't change anything. Okay, so we got that set. This little ring behind it looks fine, and that all looks good too. Okay, cool. So let's move to the desktop, and then if we have time, we'll come back. So the desktop looks like it just moves See, we've got a flex wrap going, and this is like a flex wrap reverse. It's a little bit different though, because this is all the way over on the side. So we're going to need to figure out how to do that. This is just a normal flex wrap. So we should be good there. And this is a flex wrap with, again, it moved over a little bit. So let's start with this top section. And probably the easiest thing to do here is just to come up here and let's zoom out a bunch so that we get a desktop size essentially. And we need to add some flex things to this. So let's start with this because I think, let's start with this because I think this will be the easiest. And this is our phones again, and we're already there. So perfect. Display grid is how I set that up before. Oh, you know what? Because of those weird position things, I bet I was going to switch it with grid so that I can move that one all the way over. So let's see if that works. All right, so let's say that, let's just do the media queries in line here. So I'll say media, and then we'll do min width. Let's do like 768 maybe. When it's at this size, then I want to change this right here. And I'll change this to, let's see, grid template columns maybe. We'll change this to 2, 1 fraction. All right, so this should stack these things up. We should have 2 available here. Let's see, phone's background flex wrap. Oh, maybe I did have something. My flex wrap. Grid small. Let's look at the markup. That's what we should have done to start with. Where are our phones? Down here. Okay, so I did have flex wrap here. Okay, so that's why I had those things. Why did I have that thing grid then? I don't know. Anyhow, all right, so let's go to our flex wrap class. Flex wrap. I must have that somewhere. Okay, so there we go. What I need is the children here to have some flex properties on them. So that's this phone here and this grid small. So let's give these both a class, and let's call this flex child or something like that. And because they're going to share space, that should work out. We'll just do it for both of these. And this as well, we'll say flex child. And I'll come back this way, and let's just add a little flex child in here. So flex child, and we'll do flex, I guess it should be able to grow indefinitely till we hit a certain amount. So let's actually do our media query here. So we'll do media, and then we'll do min width, 768 pixels. And I'll come in here and let's move this flex child in here. And we'll do like at that size. Now we want it to grow, and we'll just make them equal. So let's just do 0%. That should work. All right, so maybe. Oh, I still have that column thing going on. Let's remove the stuff we tried to help fix. Where are we at? Phones. Help me out. Okay, let's get rid of that. There we go. That's ugly, but it is working, so that's good. We're getting it to go the right way. Let's come back over here, and let's see. It's this one we're working on right here. So we're going to have to position this background a little bit differently. Make sure these things are aligned to the center. So let's go up to our flex wrap again, or flex child. And this flex child here should have, flex child will have align content center. That should put all that to the center. And let's see, we're zoomed out quite a bit. So we're already at 2000 pixels there. So here's probably another way in which we need to add maybe a container to this flex child as well. So let's do that. So let's come over here, or the flex wrapper. So let's come over here, and this can be container as well. And that should cap it more to the center. Very much so, it caps it to the center. So we get a lot of extra margin. So we don't want that. But I do want to keep that container on. So let's see, if I set this to like 40%, I think that should, nope. I thought that was going to fix it for sure. So let's get my container back in here, and let's just do it live in the dev tools. That way we don't have to figure stuff out as we go. So I want what's ever bigger. I think this might need to be a min function. There we go. Maybe. So now I'm saying whatever's smaller out of the two of those. that doesn't look right either. Let's just stop being fancy and come back up here to our set to be slightly different. So maybe what all I need to do is actually have it come up the bottom too. No, it was a good try. Inset. Both of these. Oh, you know what? I have to actually have it on a class. So let's try that again. And maybe that was right. So let's remove that. Yeah, just about. All right. Let's see. So it needs to overhang slightly. So is that one about right? So that one's a little high. So maybe let's do this. So let's move this one down here for the bottom. And up top, we're going to change this to 2 and 3. Almost. All right. Let's change this to just XL and 2XL. And then we'll change. Let's see. This needs to be calculated negative, I think. So we might still be okay. So calc like this. And because these are CSS variables, I can just do calculations right here. Nope, it doesn't need to be negative. It needs to be positive. So let's just move this to like 12 rem or something like that. We'll just do some magic number stuff to get it mostly working. Let's do 18 rem. All right, more or less. So we get that in there. See how that looks. Pretty similar. Now they do give you, I think they give you another SVG for this background. But, I mean, it looks like that one's working, and it's an SVG, so it should scale. So let's just come in here, and let's see what we can do to change this up. So this is our phone's background, and let's see. We've got right, left, top 20% now. So let's change that. Let's say top is giving it that calc left to right, so I don't need anything left to right. Let's just do this. Let's just grab the top and do like negative 50%. All right, maybe, kind of, not too bad. Let's do 80%. Again, I'm not a huge fan of these magic numbers, but that's mostly good. Looks like maybe I need to. Maybe this is why they need to change it out, because it needs to be scaled slightly. So let's just scale it here. So a scale of like 2, maybe 1.3, something like that. And then let's move it left. So we'll do left like 20%, maybe. Too much. 10%? Ish. Let's do 1.7 on the scale. I don't know. I do need to hide this on desktop, but let's work on this next section next. So all these things are going to need, let's see, these are going to, I think these are in their own container. That would be my guess how I set this up. And then over here, we're just going to have to, I'm trying to think how to move that. I guess I'll just position relative it and then push it that way. I think there's another SVG I can switch out here too. It looks like it's a little different too as far as its design. So let's first of all, since they're going to be flex children anyhow, let's come find that designed for the future. Here we go. So this flex reverse here, let's add here flex child. And oh, something happened. There we go already. And then this also needs to be flex child. Let's see, text group. Let's collapse this. Get out of here. And I guess just this image is the other one. So class, we'll give this flex child as well. Now, the other thing we need to do is switch this out on desktop and mobile. So I guess I don't really care if this is a flex child to start with, because it's not going to be affected anyhow. Oh, and I've already got a class below. So let's do this. Let's add the other one here, which I'm guessing if these both say mobile, then there's a desktop version. Desktop. Okay, perfect. And this can be desktop as well. And then this will have the class of FlexChild. Hey, look at that. Okay, so let's grab this future desktop SVG over in our style sheet. Well, I guess I'm going to have mobile desktop SVG. No. Oh, I'm saving stuff. Future mobile SVG, do I not have something like that? Let's look. This is called future design. So future designed. Hey, there it is. It needed to be fixed. Perfect. We're here to fix it. So let's just say that on media, for media, and then we'll look at the min width, and we'll do 768 here. I'll say that at that screen size, let's just hide this to start with. So we'll say display none, and that will be our fix. Display none. Okay, so we got one thing hidden, and this should now be set to go. All right, cool. We also need a container on that section. So let's do that as well. So we'll give this section class of container, and that way it should cap it to the middle. That's good. Let me make sure everything else future designed. You know what? This doesn't need a container. The section that wraps these things does. So that, I think. All right, flex reverse. That should need a container. Let me make sure that this is 40%. And this should be the same, right? Let's see. Flex child here. Image. So that's 40%, and this should be 40%. Okay, so it is. It's just not respecting it somehow. Maybe I need to set a max width on that. Image, maybe? Do I have a max width? I do. Huh. Maybe we'll just make that smaller. 20%. So let's come back over here. Since they are both have flex grow on them, I should be able to just come in here to the flex child. Hey, Sergey, welcome. Jose, that's nice. Thanks. I'm glad you're enjoying stuff. All right, flex child. Hey. Oh, no, min width. That should be working. We'll just change that to 30 or something. That should work. Okay. Cool. Now, let's look over here. So these should all be left aligned as well. So do I have text group? I bet I did it on that. Text group. Nope. Where is this thing getting its center positioning from then? Grid small. Aha. So let's come to our grid small. I'm guessing nothing is centered aligned. So I should be able to change that altogether. Maybe that's why I did that. Let's see. Grid small. We'll do the same thing. Let's go ahead and copy a media query down so I don't have to redo that. And then we'll go back to our grid small. Grid small. There we go. I'll copy this in. Let's grab all this. Drop it down here. Whoop. Like that. So these should still be placed item center. Grid small. Oh, I totally deleted the other one. Well, that's not good. All right, how about like that? And then let's get rid of this. Text align left. Filter and sort by category using checkbox, radio inboxes using date attributes. I will consider something like that. I have done a blog post filter before. I think I did it for Net Ninja's channel. It's not nearly as complex as that, but I think some of that might be helpful. It looks like YouTube is telling me it's not getting a good connection, but my computer is telling me it's getting a great connection. So hopefully you're not having trouble listening. If you are, let me know, and I can see what I can do on my end. Okay, so that should be good there. Looks like I've got something funky going on with this H3. That doesn't make sense. H3. Max inline size. No. Somehow, oh, you know what? I think it's just margin block. Inline doesn't have anything, huh? Those should still all be working. I'm not sure why it's over that way. Maybe just because it's place items center. So let's do place items start, or justify. Oh, justify items start. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So that should be working now. And we've got to switch out this image down here too, I think. Okay, so let's come back up here. Okay, good. Thanks, Jose. Yeah, I don't know. It says excellent connection now, so who knows? All right, so here we go. Let's move this thing over to the side when we get to a smaller screen size. I also need to hide that desktop only. What was that thing called? Future mobile. So let's look at this future desktop now. So future mobile. Where are we at? Oh, I just saw it. There we go. Okay, so let's do this. Let's add this future mobile or future desktop here. We'll do display of none to start with. And then when we get to this size, we will make it display of block. Okay, so now that should be working better. Should disappear under 768. I'm so zoomed in right now. It's hard for me to tell exactly what's going on. So let's come back in here. 100%. Let's get down this way. Okay, so that should disappear at that size. I get to 768 and it snaps. And now clearly this also needs to be margin inline or something. So let's grab this right here and let's set this to margin inline auto. And that should put that back in the middle. Okay, cool. Now, see, all the rest of that should work. Looks like I also need the same thing on these phones. So let's, do I have anything else on here other than this flex child? I don't think so. So come back to our phones. Some of this is just kind of tedious stuff that you have to do. We'll do phones image, or I don't know, let's just call it phones. But such is the nature of web development. So hopefully it's not too boring to watch, but either way, I'm enjoying myself, so hopefully you are. Let's look inside the phones section. Phones here, and we'll just say, let's just copy this down. All right, phones, like that, and then this will be margin, inline, auto. Okay, cool. And I probably had some classes. I'm seeing I had some desktop only classes, so I bet I had some things all planned out that I totally ignored now. So that we're going to hide and show things. Okay, so that still looks fine there. Let's kill this and let's zoom back out. Without being able to see this on an actual desktop screen, it's going to be hard for me to tell if this is all actually correct or not, but I'm assuming that it zoomed out to 50%. This is kind of how it looks on desktop, but so that you can see what's going on, that's how I'm going to leave it. Okay, so let's change one more thing, which is this desktop only. Nope. See, that's the thing I think I had. Future desktop SVG. Let's say this, that when it gets to the large screen size 2, I want to, let's do this. Because this is kind of a weird case, let's set this flex basis here. It's normally set to like 30%, I think I set it to. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Actually, let's just do this. Let's say position relative so that I can move it. And then I'll say right, and we'll do like negative 40% or something. Again, we're kind of in magic number territory. See, this is the right one, right? Just nothing. Oh, mobile. Okay, here we go. There we go. So it moves it all the way over. I do need a, on the main tag probably, I'll just do an overflow hidden. Overflow of hidden. Is that going to cap this on mobile? I think we had that problem earlier. Let's check. Nope, it doesn't. Cool. All right, so let's come back out here. So that works. This is kind of funky spacing, but they have also got this. So sometimes it's the frustration when you get stuff like this from designers, because the reality is you're at 1400 pixels. Do they want you to just cut it off mid-screen? Or do they really want this thing to be always positioned absolute all the way to the right? Because if so, then you're going to have this random floating text somewhere, and it's not going to be centered aligned. So in this case, I'd probably just say, hey, if you didn't want it to be cut off in the middle of the screen, because tons of screens are going to be larger than 1400 pixels, then you should have not designed it like this. You know, tell me how to design it on a larger screen size, because I mean, I seriously wouldn't think they'd want this just to be hacked off. So, you know what? Let's just defy them and change this. It's our thing anyhow. So let me come back down here and let's look at the desktop where we at SVG. And we're not going to do this, all right, because I don't know what to do on larger screen sizes. And this looks fine on all screen sizes. And yeah, it looks nice if it gets cut off, but we can't cut it off. So we're just going to do whatever we want. We'll leave that alone. But that's how you would move that over. But then again, you got to figure out what to do with this because it's not going to look right. Okay, let's come back down here. We've now got this section. What is this called? Free, open, simple, flex, reverse, additional features. So let's look at our additional features first of all. Additional features. I thought I had an image. I do. Feature mobile SVG. I bet I have this hidden. So let's go ahead. I'm guessing there's a desktop version too. Oh, cancel. So let's change this and this to desktop. And that should work. And then feature desktop SVG. Let's look at the feature mobile SVG. Feature mobile SVG. So I name these things the same thing. That doesn't seem right. So let's call this feature. How about this? Feature mobile SVG. So feature. Okay, so now they both show up and that one shows up funky. Cool. So let's grab this class and let's jump over to our feature. Do I have features somewhere? Feature designed. What was that thing called? Additional features. Additional. No. Features. Did I just not have anything at all? It's just flex, reverse. That's it. All right, that's fine. Yeah, I guess I didn't. Huh, okay. That works. Are you too late? No, I'll post this later too. Yeah, it's in the same way. I'm just like, I don't know what to do with that image on the right exactly. I'm going to be around for probably another 30 minutes or so, Gerald, so hopefully that's a help, and then I'll post this later if you're interested. I know this isn't my normal time. Not that I really have a regular time of streaming, but maybe twice a month I stream on a Sunday, and I couldn't do it this week or next week, so I figured I'd just get this project done with since we'd already started it. Okay, so I guess I don't have anything on this additional features section. Nope, not seeing it. Okay, so let's go ahead and just create one here. Oh. So what do I have? Feature mobile SVG, and then I'll have the same thing, except this is going to be a desktop. So first of all, this will be display of none, and then let's come back up here to our other one and just copy a lot of that stuff down. It should be pretty similar. Where are we at? Mobile SVG. Okay. Nope. That's not right. Not that one. This one. Okay, here we go. Let's copy this down. Margin inline auto for that too. Let's just copy all this down and then switch out the text. So let's do that, and we'll just change it to feature, 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 and feature. Okay, we got that set. Now what we need to do is, see, we've hidden that, right? I think. I don't know. Where did it go? Let's make sure this is the right one. Laptop. This is the desktop. Oh, you know what? I have to go to mobile to see the mobile, because that's how mobile works. Move up, snap out. Okay, so now the desktop is showing. And again, it's a little hard to see exactly if this is right since I'm so zoomed out, but hopefully this allows you to see what's going on a little bit better. Let's add the same kind of flex classes. So we want flex children to this. Let's just double check this works. So we'll do flexed child here. Hey, look at that. And then we'll do flex child here. Not there, here. Flex child. Okay, so that works. We also need to add a container to this class. So container. Okay, so if we do that, everything should work properly. So let's come back over here. We'll add container here. And then we'll grab this text group and just add flex child and find our image down here. And we'll add flex child. Hey, look at that. And again, when I come back over here, okay, so it looks like maybe we need to reverse that. Or I could just put this before, since it's not going to show either way. So let's put this before. Okay, so there we go. And again, so here, same kind of problem here. They've cut off the design, but you're like, do I just cut the design in half on large screen sizes? Or do you always want it to be all the way left aligned and leave this random hanging text, which will end up being like, 800 pixels away from this? So that's something where you just have to check with the designer. And I don't know, I feel like these kind of designs are notorious where you're like, I don't know what to do with this. At least some people I've worked with. Okay, so as we zoom in, I don't really know what this is going to look like on a full desktop just because we're designing it zoomed in like this, but hopefully that at least tells you how you lay it out, which is kind of my point. I also don't know why this isn't text align centered. Oh, it's because I changed that grid small. All right, let's override that. Let's say that if we're in the header in grid align small, so let's do grid small. And we'll say here that if it's header, this is kind of hacky, but we'll make sure this is justify item center, and this is text align center. Okay, so I think the rest of that should work. And I think that mostly looks right. We've got some extra spacing here. So this phones section, we could probably also adjust that. All right, phones. And let's add this media query here and copy this down. I'll add this in right here. And what we'll say is padding bottom. Let's get rid of that because we won't need that anymore. So we'll say 0 here. I'm not sure why I did that on the mobile. I don't remember exactly, but now this adjusts all that other stuff. So where was that at? So this spacing, this background here. So that's why we had to do all this weird funky stuff. All right, I knew there was something else going on. So that would have been fine. How about that? Let's do 2XL to 3XL. Okay. Okay, so we're going to call that done. Oh, the footer. I forgot about the footer. So this should just stack up. Let's look at the markup here. What did we do? Footer. Actually, let's just look in the DOM. So everything's inside of a footer container that has footer flex on it. Okay, so let's look at the footer container. Oh, I need to be my CSS. So, oops, footer, okay, container right here. So here's what I was trying to do. I thought that's what I did earlier. Oh, divided by 2. That's my problem. I didn't divide it by 2. Oh, whatever. All right, that'll work. So let's actually do this. Let's just override our other container since we figured that out. And we'll add on the footer container just the class of container because that should work. All right, container. Did we just fix something that, did we just break something that was fixed? Container, where are we at? So this should work because it was working on our footer. You know what? Let's stop fixing stuff that we don't need to fix. We'll get rid of that, come back here. That's fine. In fact, let's just do this. Since we already know the other one's working, let's just set that to container and we'll just scrap this all together. Okay, so we also have a footer flex here. And let's see, we should be good there, but let's set secondary nav is to that. So let's just do a media query here, right? I think that should work. Yeah, let's try that. So we'll do media min width. We'll do 768. Whoop. 768 pixels. And then inside here, we'll change both of these to be like 10% or something. Because what we want are 50%, right? Let's see, no. Yeah, they just need to split it because everything else is inside the other thing. So let's set this to like 40 and it should figure out the difference here for us. And then the secondary nav, how is that structured? footer, everything's inside the secondary nav. So I've set this up with a grid. Not sure that was a good idea. So let's change this to flex, and we'll just do flex direction column. It should look the same, and then let's get this media query down here, and we'll paste this in. Let's see, right here, and I'll just change this to, let's see, row, and then how are these things spaced out? Evenly. So this, maybe let's do this. Let's set this to justify content space between. That should at least space those out. Let's change up these. So we've already got the secondary nav down there. So let's just do the footer logo. And we'll set this to like 10%. Something like that. All right. That should work, right? 20%. And then this one, I just need to add down here, flex, and we'll do like, I don't know, 70% or something like that. Okay, so that should stack those up. And then I need to add the same spacing as I have between my nav items on this footer flex. Is that not the same? Looks the same. Oh, you know what? These have justify content space between. So, trying to think the best way to space those out. I'm open to ideas. Let's see. We've got just this, and then all these are going to be already pushed like that. What if they're all space between? So, can I do that here? Justify content space between? I mean, they're still going to try to grow to equal size. Trying to think the best way to do this. Because this gap isn't really going to help me. What if I kill the gap? Nope, that doesn't help. If you have any ideas, I'm open to it. 25. Maybe I just kind of hack this a little bit and set this to center, or space around. Space around work? Yeah. Okay. So space around splits them a little more evenly. Okay. I think that mostly works. And then let's just align items to the start on, where's our flex thing? Footer flex. So we'll do align. Okay, so let's do this. This needs to be in a media query itself. So let me copy this up. Whoop, like this. And then what I'm wanting is to change out this and to change out align items to the start. So they should start up top, and this needs to change to the footer flex. Okay, cool. So that footer looks mostly done to me. Got some massive padding going on here. What was I doing? Padding block? Seems very large. It seems overkill. Let's come back in here. Let's change this to desktop, but I think that should work just fine. Okay, so that looks like it's most menu, I think. And let's set a media query here. So we'll do media min width, and we'll do 768 pixels. And I'll come in here and let's grab this menu button, or button menu, and we'll change this to display of none. All right, so it's gone. Perfect. Let's grab our menu links then. Let's go ahead and just remove this for now, and let's space some of these things out. So first of all, we'll have a list style of none, and then this is going to be display of flex. Let's see, this needs to be on desktop. So let's go ahead and again copy this up, and we'll do another media query. A lot of times you combine these, but just for readability's sake, I'm just putting them all right after the thing, wherever they're at. So let's just do that. And I'll put that back on display of none, which means here we're going to say display of block, or flex, I guess. Okay, so they're all spaced out, list style none. let's grab the ULs inside of that and add a class to them. So let's see, where are my ULs? What happened here? Because I need a UL outside of this, right? So UL for my nav links. Oh, I just copied these things down. What was I doing? Oh, that's at the bottom. Okay, here we go. Yeah. Okay, I thought I had plain old ULs. One. Let's see. 1, 1, 2, 3. All right. So let's add a class to all of these. Oh. So I'll say class, and let's call this nav sublinks. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so we've got our sublinks here, and let's come back over this way, and I don't need all three, even though I copied them all. We'll just say display of none for now. We'll hide those, and then let's position these other things. It looks like, don't I have arrows or something after them? Okay, so I do after those three. All right, so I'm trying to think the best way to do that. Probably just with an after element. I think that should work. Yeah, I think that should work. All right, we've probably got maybe 15 minutes or so more that I'll take time on here, and then I'll leave a lot of the rest of this to you. I'm not going to do another stream on this just because we got most of it there, and in 2 hours, 2 hours and 2.5 hours, something like that. That's about as much as I'm going to do, because a lot of the rest of this is just really tedious, getting pixels to line up and stuff. Okay, let's dial none, display flex. Let's do width 100%. That should space those out. Let's see, links main. Let's do this instead. Let's do justify content space between, and that should work. Maybe I also need the width 100%. There we go. Then what I need is after this sublink. So I guess maybe the easiest way is to say last of type. Let's do a margin right of auto. Right? Nav links last of type. Oh, you know what? That should be right, right? Nav links, sublinks, last of type. Oh, not that. The LIs, a roll of none, I think, is what I'm wanting. So let's do that. So we'll grab this selector, roll of none, last of type, margin right auto. All right, let's see what's going on in here. Let's get wider. And this is what I want to push over. Maybe I just didn't select that correctly. Oh, you know what? They're all rolled none. Okay, so I can't do that because it's margining this way. So we could do something like third or whatever, but probably the better thing is just to let's just give this a special class here. So we'll give this a class of write me or something. Can I do exclamation points in classes? I don't know. I've never tried that. Let's not try it. All right, I'll come back here and to my CSS. And what we'll do is say here, I want it to be margin right of auto. Hey, there we go. Okay, cool. The other thing then is I need to have some kind of gap between them. So we'll do gap var space. Got some kind of space here. And I don't exactly remember how far away they are. It might be a little too far. So let's do margin S small to medium. All right, the other thing I need to do is have some kind of a gap on this thing. What is this thing? The nav container. So nav container. I don't think I have a gap on here. These things are all out of whack. Let's do gap var space, and we'll do the same thing, small to medium. Okay, so that should space those out. Align item center works, but I think I need to actually space these things out in their LIs. So let's grab all those rolls of none over here. A roll of none. No, what did I call it? Write me, so I can find it. And we really would want that on both mobile and desktop. So let's grab our, I had that, right? Roll of none. And I'll jump over here. And what do we want? Display grid, place item center. Okay, so cool. Those should be right. And then we even get this funky thing that they want us to have on these, so that works. I think that's how those are supposed to be. Now these themselves, those links, do we have any kind of, I guess we've got this roll menu item. This should override it later. Plus this is less specific. So I think that'll work. Let's just grab these. Let's give these things classes. I think we're going to run into trouble trying to do that, because my guess is the mobile has the same thing. So let's come in here and say nav link main. And I'll copy that out, save that, jump over here, and let's see. We are going to need to style these on mobiles, but since we're not going to get to that, let's just do it up here. So nav link main. And what I want here is text decoration none, and then color var background maybe. Okay, what else do I need? Looks like maybe I need a bigger space here too. So let's go back out to our nav container. Let's increase this to like medium to large. Medium to large. There we go. Maybe a little bit larger. Larger to extra large. Okay, so that should work. And then let's see. My nav links main. Nav link main. All right, so let's also font weight maybe needs to be bold. No? All right, it just doesn't seem super readable to me, but what do I know? We've got, let's see, an after pseudo element I think might work best for that arrow. And I think I do actually have an arrow SVG. So let's do this. Let's copy this down. And I think on mobile it's different maybe, because I've got a dark one it looks like too. So yeah, it must have dark and a light. So the light is for desktop. So let's just do this inside of this media query then. So I'll move this inside here. Write me, let's put it up here. All right, so let's see. Here's where I need to do my pseudo element. So we'll do an after, and then for the content, we'll have a, what's the syntax here? URL maybe, and then images, and then light arrow. I think that's right. Hey, there we go. Cool. Now let's see, probably the easiest thing to do is just to say margin left here of 0.4 rem maybe. Okay, cool. All right. So that should mostly work. Let's see. I don't know that we're going to have time to finish this, and I don't really want to start it. So we could do a couple different things. We could work on the mobile menu just showing, even though it's going to look horrendous. We could do that. Or we could work on these things popping down on desktop. Anybody have a preference real fast before I just choose? See, you've got this white menu. It's look like it's offset to the side there. And then this is our desktop menu. Oh, our mobile menu. It looks like this also changes colors. Maybe let's just do the desktop version. Yeah? No, let's do the mobile. All right, I'm doing mobile. Final decision. So all we're going to do is track whether or not we've clicked on the button. So let's pull this in to 375. That's the design width here. So when we click on this button right here, which has a class, do we have an ID on this too? Doesn't look like it, so we can use this class. That's fine. Do we have any JavaScript files? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so we need to add that. So let's just have something called nav.js. And then let's come up here And I'm just going to add this up top here. Let's see. I guess I'll just add it right. Let's see, before the style sheet so that it loads earlier. So we'll say script src and then nav.js. Well, we're going to defer it either way. So defer. Okay, so that should load. Let's just make sure everything's hooked up. It's console.log. Hey, yo. All right, and make sure something. Okay, cool. Okay, so we've got our menu button that we need to grab. So we'll do const. Oops, let's close this down here. It's a const menu button is equal to document.querySelector. And what we're looking for is a class of menu button. And what we'll say is menu button.add event listener. We're listening for a click. Now, whenever we click on this thing, let's go ahead and let's see. What do we need to do? Well, we need to figure out if it has an aria expanded equals true or aria expanded equals false. I think that's probably the easiest way to mess with to adjust for this. So what we can do is say, let's grab const is expanded, and we'll make this a query here, and this will be equal to. So what we could do is grab the menu button dot get attribute. Oops. Dot get attribute, and what we're looking for, this needs to be equals, like I had it originally. What we're looking for is this aria expanded, and what that equals. So let's just double check this is coming through okay. So console.log is expanded. So I should be able to click this, false, false, false. Okay, because it should be false. All right, so we know whether or not it's false or true. Now, I think, yeah, we should be able to turn this into a true Boolean, I think. But let's go ahead and grab the menu items as well. Let's just use maybe this right here, because that's what we're hiding. So let's grab this and say const menu bar, I guess. We'll say document.querySelector. Should have just copied that down, query selector. And what we'll look for is that navlinks main, and this is a class. Okay, so what we'll say is menu bar dot, let's see, what do we need? Well, first of all, let's go ahead and change the menu button aria expanded, so menu button, because I think we can style the rest of it off of that menu button. So let's do that. So we'll say dot set attribute, and we're going to set the aria expanded, and we'll set this to the opposite of expanded, or is expanded. Okay, so let's see if this actually works. I don't think it will, but the first time. So if I click, it should change it. No, it doesn't do anything. Cool. All right, aria expanded is to the opposite of is expanded. So let's see. It should work if, I think maybe it's because it's not a true Boolean. So yeah, I think we can turn it into one like this, maybe. True, but it just stays there. There is another way, I think, if I remember correctly, it's a json.parse. And as odd as that seems, I think this will actually work. True, false, true, false. Yeah, so it's actually going to give us that each time. And I think that has to do with the fact that it's not a true Boolean. So anyhow, that's what we've got going. And then I think that's actually all we really need to do. We don't need this, because we should be able to set whether or not this shows based on this, whether or not the menu shows based on this attribute. So yeah, I think that'll work. So let's come over here to our style sheet, and let's look for our nav or button menu. And what we're going to do is say that whenever the button menu has an aria expanded equals, see, do I need that in quotation marks? I don't think so. Aria expanded equals true. That whenever that's the case, then I want to grab the sibling element, which should be our navlink main, and I want to say display it. Hey, there we go. Cool. I mean, it's horrendous, but it's there. Right? And really what I need to do now at this point is say that this needs to be, let's see, display block works, but what I actually need to do then is pull this, which I'm assuming I've got somewhere. Here we go. This needs to be position absolute, and that way it shows up in the middle. And I also need to switch out that icon. So I need to actually change out which icon is showing, which means I probably need to make this image, let's see, maybe a background image probably is the best idea, and then you could just switch out the background image on that. So maybe let's see what we should do. We're running out of time, and I want to do everything we can. Navlinks main. First of all, let's make sure this goes back to position of static, since we're going to be changing that on mobile. And I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments. And then let's come back down here and let's set a background color on here. I said I wasn't going to do this. This is the way things go. And let's see, why is that positioned so weirdly? I guess let's just say top needs to be like, I don't know. Right now we'll just say like 10 rem or something just to get it down. It's too much, 5 rem. Again, I'm kind of playing magic numbers game here. But there, okay, cool. So that's always showing up. It does need some kind of extra thing, but at least we can now see what's going on. So let's do that. And see, why is this thing showing automatically? Oh, I remove display of none from it, right? There we go. So now I should be able to click it. Hey, there we go. On and off. So let's change one more thing. Let's get this. Let's make sure we didn't mess up anything else. We did. Position absolute. Oh, this background color. So we also need to remove this here. So we'll set this back to transparent on desktop. So transparent. There we go. And then once we get to desktop, it should show and it should look right. Okay, cool. So there's obviously more styling stuff to do here. But again, I don't have time to finish it today, and I don't want to come back just for this, so I'll leave that to you. But let's at least change out this icon, and then let's call it good after that, and you can grab the code and improve upon it. I might even do that later. A lot of times I'll come back and change stuff up. I usually add a community improvements branch, and that way everybody gets the chance to kind of play with it, and you can do a pull request if you want to. Otherwise, I usually stick around and play with it for a bit. All right, so let's come back here. Let's get rid of this. And then I need to come inside the button menu. So button menu right here. And I need to add a, what am I adding here? Background image. All right, and this will be URL pointing to images and hamburger. All right, and then background size. How does this work? Contain. I think. Where are we at? So the button is just nowhere to be seen. 0, 0. Do I need to give this a height? I'm trying to remember how this works. So let's give this a height of like 32 pixels and a width of 32 pixels. There we go. It's ugly, but it's ours. Background repeat. We'll set to no repeat. Okay. I mean, it could definitely be worse. Let's go ahead and get this thing in the center. This background position will be center. And I know there's a shorthand for a lot of this, but I'll just keep them separate. Okay, so cool. So let's just change it out then. Right here, we'll say that whenever this is true, right here, we're going to change out the background image to our hamburger close image. So images, hamburger, icon close. I think that's it. Okay, moment of truth. Hey, we did something. All right, so we got that at least working and up and ready to go. And most of the desktop stuff, again, I think the mobile or the tablet size would be kind of weird. but it looks like kind of maybe this desktop, this needs to be smaller. At least we got stuff basically laid out the correct way. This also needs to be adjusted. So there's definitely some things to adjust here, but really the point of doing these live is just to talk you through kind of my thinking. And I definitely don't pretend to be an expert with CSS, HTML, or JavaScript, but I think it does help just to see how somebody else thinks. And I've gotten a lot of gain from just watching people code and thinking, oh, like I don't ever do that. Because you kind of get stuck in your own patterns, myself included, where you just always do stuff the exact same way. And sometimes that's helpful and sometimes it's not. So I hope that was a help. And like I said, at least we got some stuff done. We got this mobile menu kind of going. We got this desktop size mostly working. And for 2 hours and 40 minutes or however long it's taken us over these 2 videos, that's okay by me. Well, I hope this was a help. Thanks again for watching. Thanks so much for all the support. You guys have been really kind, and I hope I've been a help to you as well. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm not professionally trained, but I do think that just the more we talk about what we're doing and talk about coding publicly and not be ashamed to share our code, I think it does end up helping each other. And you guys have been a big help to me as well with suggestions I've gotten on videos or just comments I've gotten or pull requests, ideas to change projects. Those have been a huge help to me, and I hope that I've been able to return the favor. All right, well, we'll call it good for now. This weekend, or this Friday, I think I've got a video out on responsive typography. Based off of a lot of the stuff we did in the first part of this video, I figured I'd put one together. And then next week should be that video that I showed at the beginning, where we'll look at this Tailwind landing page. So I hope you'll stick around, and I'll see you in those videos. It'll probably be at least 3 or 4 weeks till I live stream again, but thanks for being here, and I appreciate it. All right, thanks so much.